Welcome to the Effects Loop. I'm Diaz.
I'm Chris.
I'm Clifton.
I'm Daniel.
And we're keeping you in the loop of the guitar community. We forgot to go over that part, but I'm glad everyone just caught on to what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, I was about
All
to
right,
be
guys.
like, go. Somebody go.
All right. All right, so this episode is brought to you by Westminster Effects. Westminster Effects is a great company ran by our buddy Cody, making some awesome pedals, absolutely like a little bit of everything. So for small boutique companies, usually you see like, oh, they stick towards drives or they stick towards kind of this thing, but he's got a little bit of everything going on over there. He's got one heck of a website too, so you should go check out westminstereffects.com and support them. Also, really quick, I'm going to touch on this. We have our charity raffle up and running. So we launched it just a few days ago. We've already raised right around $250 or so. And there's a lot of cool stuff on there. There is a 1981 DRV drive. There's a big ear woodcutter. We've got Westminster Effects, Wycliffe fuzz, Gun Street wiring harnesses. We've also got a yellow cake psychotropia. Oh my gosh, there's so much. It goes on and on. I can't even remember everything we've got on there. So go check it out. I think the cheapest group of tickets is $5. So you get, I think, like 10 entries for $5. So you're getting one heck of a deal. So go check it out. And it's supporting the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, which is a great network that is ran by autistic people for autistic people to help them out and make them, and it lets them stand up for themselves, which is a great thing. So check that out. And also on the intro, you heard we had a couple extra voices. We've got Mr. Clifton Worley from the Clifton Worley Show. And then we've got Daniel Shields from DS Guitar Engineering.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. A whoop, whoop. Actually, both of you have been on the show before. And actually, usually it's Summer NAMM, because I know, Daniel, you were on the episode, same one I think Clifton was on for Summer NAMM 2018.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
So I still talk about it to this day. That was one of the greatest Summer NAMM years. It was a lot of fun. And still, Daniel Shields is one of the nicest people to tell you to shut up and go to bed.
You're never going to forget that one, huh?
No, I will never forget that. Guys, if we could just quiet it down. It's just like, oh man, that was great. But Daniel, you've got DS Guitar Engineering. So what's going on over there? I know you're still making the chronograph, and I know mods are a real big thing for you.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about the chronograph because I'm kind of mad about it, to be honest. But
oh no! Well, I know you were going for like. Do you have a V2? Or I know there was like you were trying to move things around in it. Well, let's not talk about it. You just said you.
Well, no, I was just joking about not talking about it. But so just had some supply chain issues and not able to ship any right now. I'm trying to get a new version out by the end of the year. So that's all I meant by that.
Okay, he's like, it's like we don't want to talk about that. It's like the kid that you're just mad about, and you're like, and there's the boy. That's the boy pedal right now. But man, yeah, I hope you definitely figure something out about that, because I love my chronograph. It does not. It's always on my board, no matter what.
Glad to hear that.
And then Clifton, you've been doing quite a bit. We just did that giveaway, which I need to mail you the stinking. You need to send me your address so I can mail you that power supply.
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah,
because it just like hit me. I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah, actually, I just talked to the guy. Is it Eric Cox, I believe, that won that? And I just talked with him earlier, and it has landed. And he said that they were dealing with that hurricane. I think he's in the Carolinas somewhere.
Oh man!
And he said he hadn't really had a chance to play it yet, except maybe once, but he really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, I mean, it's great that he enjoyed it, not great that he's in the hurricane. Let's clear that up. There's gonna be these people are gonna be like, the effects loop hates hurricane victims. Like,
No,
whoa,
just Diaz.
No, hey, I'm from Florida, man. I've been through so many hurricanes. You know, there is one good thing about hurricanes, and that's hurricane parties. If you've been through a hurricane, you know about them.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like the kind of party I want to be at.
Listen, all right. So I'm going to tell you some of the rules about hurricane parties. Okay. So the rule is whatever level hurricane it is, or whatever category it is, that's also the category of your party. So whenever you get like a good category 4 or 5, you're just like, it's all hands on deck. I remember one time Florida got hit, and it was like 3 hurricanes in a row. And the last hurricane just kind of like kept our power out for, I think it was like about 5 days. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, everyone went in survival mode. First day, you're cooking the steaks. If you want to see greatness, you see 6 grown men holding umbrellas over a grill in a hurricane trying to cook steaks. That's the gist of a hurricane party. But if you've lived in like a hurricane area, you know about them. They're the one. That's the one thing I miss about Florida. Probably the only thing. Let's see. So we'll go to the what's new segment. Clifton, have you gotten any new gear lately?
No, I've been kind of plotting. I don't know if we talked about this or not, but I kind of did a pedal purge, and I sold off a bunch of them to kind of, fun going to Summer NAMM and everything. And so I had every intention of building that back up, but I haven't had a lot of time to dedicate towards that. And so I'm kind of thinking about what delay pedal and what reverb pedal I want. And I've got a few drives left, but just kind of thinking about how I want to build my board, because I didn't really like my board the way it was. And so, yeah, I've just been like watching a bunch of gear demos and trying to make decisions.
Yeah, and there's like so much stuff going on in the gear world. Like you find something you like, and then you're like, especially if you go down the YouTube rabbit hole, then you're just like, oh, that's really cool too. And then it's 4:00 in the morning, you're sitting there like just clicking, and like you have no idea what you really want to do anymore.
Yeah, like last night, Mark Johnston, I've been following him a lot because he, has a really cool take on his gear demos. Mm-hmm. And he did the Thermae yesterday, the Chase Bliss one. Oh man. And it was so stinking good that I was like, I've got to get this pedal. And then I looked it up, and I was like,
you saw the price tag, and you're like, you're like, I don't know if I really need to get this pedal.
I was like, it's probably gonna be more expensive than I, would normally spend. And then I look at it and it's like, this is like full on Strymon, like timeline.
Oh yeah,
prices.
But there's just a lot of crazy technology in those.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I keep going back and forth between like budget and then like, well, maybe I'll just save out and get something like totally ridiculous, But to be honest, I've never played a DD 20, and
man, the DD 200, the DD 200s look amazing.
Yeah, well, I knew about those, but I've seen the DD 20s on people's boards for years. Yeah, and it looks like it's kind of a sleeper. And that's an industry. That thing's an industry standard, or it used to be. Like, I mean, before the timeline, it seemed like everyone had the DD20. Yeah, that and the DL4. Those, I think the DL4 gets looked over way too much nowadays. Which isn't an Echo Park? Isn't that like the DL4 in a compact pedal? Basically, I don't know. That one looks pretty attractive too. Even though those are kind of pricey, they're like used. They're still like on Reverb for like $120.
This is the Line 6 Echo Park?
Yeah.
Jeez, they've gone up since I bought one used.
They have gone up.
Yeah, they've gone up.
I mean, I was looking at I was just scrolling through Reverb because I've been texting Scott Hamilton, who used to be on the show, and we're bad influences on each other. But I was scrolling through Reverb and lowballing people, and I saw one of those, and I couldn't believe it was over $100.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw one for 125.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. I think
really
I think Line 6 should reintroduce the DL4 in a more like compact.
Yeah, well, there's such an aftermarket, like guys who are modding those things to kind of shore them back up to be reliable.
Who do we know that might actually mod those? I don't know. Oh, Mr. Daniel Shields.
I can't think of anybody.
It's like, oh, not me.
So, I mean, those are pretty common ones to get modded, aren't they?
Honestly, I think I've modded more Echo Parks than I have DL4s.
Oh, wow.
Really? So what's the most common mod on that?
External tap.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a pain in the butt to tap tempo on those things.
Yeah, because they're one of the ones like you have to hold and then tap and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think so.
Yeah, that's always annoying. I feel like Line 6 is kind of, I know they're hitting the Helix, like that's their thing, and I get that, and that's cool, but I feel like they could make a budget-friendly like reissue of the 4 series in a more compact, and people would go for it. I know. Did
you see the this is talking about Line 6, and it had me thinking about it. Last night, the Premier Guitar had that demo from John Bollinger about the new Spotter series MK2. I think it was like version 5.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a demo on it, and I listened to it, and I was like, that's, I mean, of course it's just a YouTube video, but it sounded pretty impressive, and I was like, there's no way that a Spider, in my mind, when you think about a Spider, that's like super budget, whatever. But I had to think, it kind of made me do a double take, and I had to think, well, maybe they're implementing some of this Helix.
They are. That's a big thing. A lot of the effects. I mean, what's so hard about just bringing the algorithm over?
Yeah, I mean, it's like they've already done all the R&D. It's probably a couple years behind the curve of the cutting edge, but still, it's good. The effects sounded amazing on it.
The Helix, the effects in the Helix are they're by far the more superior of the effects and modelers out there. They stomp the Kemper effects, Axe effects, all those. Helix is where it's at for the effects.
Have any of you guys ever played the Head Rush?
Yeah, it's
no.
I found it very mediocre sounding. I like the user interface, and I think it's fantastic, but the sound was just kind of lackluster for me.
Yeah, the interface is amazing.
Yeah, if just the drag and drop, and you can actually like see pedal placement in the touch screen, it's great.
Going back to Line 6 for a second, my take on it, I don't think Line 6 is even going to consider doing anything analog for the near future until analog effects start to make another resurgence. Right now, everything is moving digital, and I think it's probably going to be that way for a while.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, there was, the slow shift, but it seems recently, especially with the fact that if you look at the floor unit is such a big thing, because that, like, even with the Kemper, the Kemper rushed getting the stage out. They're having a lot of failures on units right now. Not a lot. They're just not completely uncommon. But like that even shows you, because Kemper is one of those companies that will just they'll not put it out unless they think it's great. And they kind of rushed it on this one. So, I mean, it's true. I don't think they're going to do anything really analog. They'll probably come up with a new way to put the Helix into something else next.
Just put it in a guitar.
Yeah. Chris, what did you get new? 'Cause
Uh,
I know you got something new.
yeah, I got the Olstein Distortion from Westminster Effects. I think that's been it. I sold a few things, and I got that Strat project pieced together. For the most part, I just need to fill some holes on the back of the neck, so that way I can redo the screw holes. And it should be good to get going. So.
Oh, that's such a pain to do. I tried to do that on my telly, and it did not work out well for me.
Yeah, so having to decide if I want to get, or if I need wood glue, or if I can just use Elmer's glue. So.
I don't know. I mean, I would use wood glue, and you got to let it sit for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So maybe by next week I'll have a functioning guitar. Yeah,
that would be great if you could get that guitar functioning. No, but all right. So this Osteen Distortion, absolutely hilarious. I love the fact that it kind of. I love how I want to say it kind of pokes at Joel Osteen, but it blatantly pokes at Joel Osteen. Like the volume knob is Listen Friend, and the distortion knob is the Wealth. And your 3-band EQ is the Health. Wealth, Health, Listen Friend. I love it.
That pedal's been out for a while now, hasn't it?
Yeah, and they just came out with a V2. So the V1 had a tone knob. This one has a 3-band EQ on it. No, it's been out for a minute. This is like one of his staples. This and the Chick-fil-A, which was pretty funny because he actually got a nicely worded letter from Chick-fil-A about it. So that was very interesting. If you join the Westminster group, you can actually read all of it. Cody's pretty open about it.
And just like one free chicken sandwich that he got.
Yeah, he did get a free chicken sandwich. It was like the barbecue one, or like the bacon. I think he said he loved the Applewood smoked bacon.
So he got a cease and desist with a free chicken coupon.
Yep.
I love Chick-fil-A so much.
That's like killing you with kindness, right?
Like, that was a bless his heart in a letter form. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I got one too. It was one of the cool things about doing podcasts. Every once in a while you get some cool stuff. But I actually did pick up some gear this week. I'm trying to think. I hopped on a stupid deal of the day. The Pigtronics compressor, the mini one, the germanium.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that advertised yesterday.
Yeah, it was like $69, so I had to hop on that. It was half price, but Pigtronics is kind of becoming the stupid deal of the day brand, or they were there for a good minute. But yeah, so I got that. I also got a pedal here. I'm trying to think if I should do this. Should I'm thinking about playing it and see if anyone can guess what it is.
Go for it.
All right. Let's see. Maybe I'll do like here's my clean tone, and then there's some crazy fuzz. Yeah, that's out of tune.
Metal Zone.
Metal Zone. So that's my clean tone. And we're gonna crank this bad boy on. See, I'm going to change some of the settings real quick. Still want to see if anyone can guess what it is.
Is it the Boss multi-effects unit?
No, it is not. It is not the Boss multi-effects unit. It is not a multi-effects unit.
Okay.
BF2.
No, it is not a BF2.
Dang it.
It's not by Boss. I'll eliminate an entire company. It's not
It's
by
a
Boss.
Digitech or a
Nope.
DoD. No.
All right, I'll give you. Here's a hint. It is by a quote unquote boutique company.
Is it the Walrus trim? Didn't they just come out with like a single enclosure version?
It is a Walrus audio pedal.
Julia.
It is the Julia. So I actually got the red print limited edition Julia. So
Cool.
Oh, cool.
looks pretty sweet. So for all of those playing at home, give yourself 7 points.
Keep those in your back pocket till later.
What'd you say, Daniel?
Everyone is still tied.
Everyone is welcome to the effects loop where the points are, or where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. So wait, I forgot to ask Daniel, have you gotten anything cool and new recently?
I was hoping you wouldn't come back to me because I haven't for like 5 months or 6 months, something like that.
Okay.
I can't remember the last thing I got. I got a new house. That's not gear, but
Hey, it's a place
It's a
to
gear
keep
holder.
your gear. Okay, have you gotten any pedals come through that you got to mess with recently that you thought were cool?
I recently had a custom shop Diamond Memory Lane 2 come through. So that was pretty cool. I haven't seen a custom shop before. It was black with silver graphics.
Ooh.
Oh, cool. So what did you do to that one?
It was just a external cap mod. I probably spent more time playing around with it than I did actually modding it. It's kind of like a special pedal.
Every time someone ever talks to me about doing something gear related, I'm like, I don't think you understand. I will not be productive if there's guitars around. Like literally someone would have to pay me just to like no, your job is to just twiddle around with guitar pedals. And I'll be like, okay, I can stay quote unquote focused here.
Yeah, I'm kind of over Strymon pedals because I've seen so many of them.
That was, I mean, it seemed like that was where I saw your sticker all the time. Was it's like on the side of a Strymon pedal for like the external faves or whatever, like anything you like external tap, anything like that.
Yeah, a couple months ago, I modded my 1000th Strymon pedal.
Wow.
1,000 Strymon pedals. Was that one of those things where you don't know if you're excited or very depressed?
No, it was kind of cool. I mean, it's a lot of time and a lot of effort, but it was kind of a cool milestone. I like reaching milestones.
What's the oddest pedal you've modded?
Somebody had me rehouse a Joyo Tremolo, I think it was.
Like a $25 pedal?
Yeah, so the rehouse job cost like 3 times the cost of the new pedal.
I could kind of understand that. If there was a good rehouse on a Dan Electro Dan Echo, I'd do that in a heartbeat. I don't know. Well, but like the tremolo are the Joyo pedals are the enclosures plastic or metal?
Everyone I've seen is metal.
So what's the deal? Do they think it just looks that ugly?
It's been a couple years since I did that one, so I forget his exact reason, but I think he just thought it was ugly and wanted something that looked better. Or maybe he was just embarrassed that he had a Joyo pedal on his board. I don't know.
I mean,
like he's like I have the Strymon Trinity going on here, and then there's my Joyo tremolo.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the deal is.
All right, so we do a gear news section, but I figured we won't be able to stay on topic long enough. So really, there was like one big thing that was that happened this week that was just really impressive, in my opinion. So Chase Bliss has been trying to get the blooper going. It's them and Knobs, or I guess the Knobs demo guy who's named Knobs. Knobs came up with this idea and Chase Bliss kind of put it into life. So he did a Kickstarter, which I kind of don't understand that, but then I guess I kind of do, maybe, because it might be one of those things where it's such a big endeavor that he wants to make sure that people are actually going to buy it. But they raised $200,000 in the first 24 hours.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's pretty cool. To kind of put it into perspective, that I don't know how much the blooper costs. Just say it's 500. That's 400 pedals.
Yeah.
So when you put it into perspective like that, it doesn't really surprise me so much. But that's still a big accomplishment to do that in 24 hours.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, well, I guess the cool thing, because Kickstarter doesn't charge you until the end of the campaign. So I guess it's kind of cool because people can like start saving up their money towards it. Which makes me want to go look at Kickstarter's website really quick. So I mean, you've got that going for you, but that's really impressive. I can't get 400 people to like a picture on Instagram. Like, how he's getting 400 people to send him $500. Good for you, Joel. You're doing great, buddy. I mean, that's just, I don't know. I guess it's just kind of mind blowing in my opinion.
Yeah, Chase Bliss is really growing over. Well, he's been around a while now, I guess, 5 or 6 years, and good for him.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great guy too. Honestly, it's like one of those things where everyone says it, but it's true. Like, it couldn't have happened to a greater guy. Like, every interaction I've had with Joel has been very pleasant, and every person I've ever talked to about Joel's has nothing but nice things to say about him.
Yeah, Joel will go out of his way to do anything for anybody. He's one of the best people I've ever met, for sure.
I was seeing how long we can go with blank audio. It was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you. All right, so let's see, and then, huh?
You got to quit doing that.
I'm sorry. It's interesting to me. Maybe there's someone else out there. Like, someone's checking their phone. Like, did it stop playing? Like, what's going on? All right. So one of the cool things, and I thought it would be really neat, especially having Daniel on here, because he looks at the technology in these pedals so much, and he also builds pedals and all that fun. He is pedals. Or just gear in general. What's a piece of gear that you want to see made that you can't currently find on the market? Because I mentioned it before we started recording, hoping someone would come up with something.
I'm gonna get out my notepad here and write this stuff down.
Okay, I guess I'll start. So one of the I guess something that I'd like to see that happen more often, which I know it's like one of those things that, like, oh, they've done that before and no one liked it, but I feel like the technology has improved and we could do it better. I want to see more, like, I want to see like cool effects like in the guitar. Like, I'm working with Sean right now from Gun Street Wiring to add a fuzz into my new Jet King I got. So that'd be something. I want to see a guitar with like a fuzz built in, or I want to see the Jack White Gretsch where he had the microphone installed. I want to see production run of that.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Tell me more about that. I haven't heard about that.
Okay, so whenever Jack White, if you watch have you seen the It Might Get Loud documentary?
Yeah, it's been a while, but I've seen it.
Okay, so it was in there, and you'd have to catch it when Jack White it's him playing with the Raconteurs, and what they did was he has a Gretsch, and they cut out a hole in it so he could have a retractable XLR cable that's connected to like an old school mic. I can't remember how to describe them. The metal ones that look
like a harmonica mic.
Or harmonica mic. Yeah. Is that what it was? Yeah, it was a harmonica mic. Yeah, and he can actually pull it out, and it goes through, I think it's wired into his like wiring harness, so it runs out through his guitar too, so he can like talk into it and it'll go through his amp.
Interesting.
I feel like it's one of those things that you would absolutely never need, but whenever you did get to use it, it would be just a glorious moment where the clouds have opened and like everything was right in the world.
Yeah, it's one of those cool gimmicky things that I think the audience could enjoy if you play it right.
I think Jack White can play it better than anyone, though. Like it was, I don't know. He's such an odd character sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But he seems like one of those people. Like if I could hang out with him for like 10 minutes, I'd either walk away like extremely happy or just frightened and just like not wanting to go to sleep. So does anyone else have any piece of gear you want to see made?
I have an idea.
Clifton's got an idea, guys.
Well, I'm all into throwback stuff. So, do you guys remember there was a Line 6 amp that had tubes in it?
Oh,
the Bogner one or the Alchemist?
Yeah, I think it was the Bogner one. And I don't really remember like getting to spend too much time with it, but it might have been like Kyle Smith or somebody like that had posted in one of the groups a day or so ago about that, and it kind of had my curiosity, like why that platform never really went past that. Like you've seen like the digital modeling,
like a hybrid.
Yeah, but like a hybrid, because I think if like you could marry those two worlds like in a lot better, like you would have a lot more conversion, or it would be just more mainstream.
I would slightly have to disagree, just because it's kind of the world I live in, and I feel like people who are about the like modelers don't want to mess with tubes. That's kind of the argument. And one of the ways I will say that too is look at like EHX did like the English muff that actually had tubes in it, and there's the pedals that have tubes in them, and like because that was like kind of the thing was like, oh well, if they want tubes in their amps, they want tubes in their pedals and stuff like that. I feel it's kind of the same like gimmick, and those never sold well either. I just don't see it. I feel like if someone's willing to go with a modeler of any type, they're willing to go all the way and just go solid state.
Yeah, it's possible. I think there's a lot of like older like blues players though who want like a tube power section, but like want all their effects thrown into the amp.
Yeah.
And like I could see like if it could be done well and like at a good price point, I think like, and I'm not thinking of like your like snobby players. I'm talking about like your guys who play in cover bands on the weekend, like who are just gigging locally. Like something like that I think would be highly attractive, especially if it had like a short board out where like it, they could turn those effects on and off, like maybe like a combination of a block of 5 or 6, and maybe like you could, because what had me thinking about that is like there's a lot of old gear people are still using. Like if you look like in local markets, not like the praise and worship scene, but like a lot of like the music scenes where people don't buy new gear a lot, they're using a lot of old stuff, like the outdated stuff like that. And I think like something like that could be a good, conversion for them.
So something you mentioned, Clifton, was that it would be, really cost effective. From a technical standpoint, it's extremely difficult to have digital circuits and high voltage analog circuits in the enclosure without getting noise problems. That's not to say it can't be done, but it's inherently expensive because of how difficult it is. And, there may be some new technology in the near future that makes that easier to do, but in the short term, it's probably I don't know. I don't want to say a pipe dream, but you know what I mean.
So
He's
what
like,
you're saying
Clifton,
is
give up. Just give up, Clifton. That's what he said. He's the nicest way possible. It's a pipe dream, buddy. Well, there would be a lot of, I think, I don't know. I just don't see it being, I feel like that is such a kind of niche market just because you'd have to find the people who want to balance in between. And I feel like most people are just all one way or all the other.
Do you think
Pretty darn
then maybe
close.
like the katana basically blew all that out of the water?
The katana, I think the katana was a great conversion piece for those tube guys to get into solid state and be like, well, the technology's gotten better. Like I think that's what that is. I don't think that.
Yeah.
And I think once you've already gotten them there, I don't see anyone wanting to bring them halfway back.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because think about Boss wouldn't want to do that because Boss doesn't offer a really, I mean, like they don't offer a tube amp line. They've got they've got like the like kind of weird wannabe tube stuff, but I mean, there's not a lot of people. Let's see, line 6, they're not doing it the whole tube amp line, so they don't want to bring people Fractal, all of those guys. So I don't think there's anyone who's doing both that wants to get the middle person.
Yeah. Do you think, and this is a little off subject, but do you think that some of those products like that kind of weren't huge market successes, do you think in like 10, 15 years, like people will be rediscovering it and that'll be all the rage and everybody's going to pay like these exorbitant prices for it? Or do you think it's just falling by the wayside and it's going to be...
I think it's going to be like those like little gorilla amps.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to, I don't think they're going to do anything special.
Yeah, it's going to take somebody famous, like, actually using it.
Yeah, and even then you'd have to, maybe Josh Scott will do a video on it in a few years.
What had me thinking about it, like I busted out my my Digitech RP200 the other day that I used to play, 15 years ago. And one of the things is that the digital effects weren't that bad on it. It was the ones that, like, the drives and everything that were supposed to be analog that sounded terrible. And I wonder if, like, and I'm not a technician or anything or an engineer who understands the technology in it, but
we should probably get an engineer on the show.
I know.
Great
we have one phone in. Oh well. but like, if there's the technology in that digital set on these cheap little things that are sitting there collecting dust, like, my thinking is that those individual DoD pedals, are commanding some pretty good prices. But if they were digital, like some of these multi-effects units have those same exact sounds in them, like, why aren't people stammering to get those rather than like the single box enclosures?
Sorry, my dogs are going nuts.
How dare you?
They feel strongly about this too, Clifton. I would say my biggest thing of why the technological products, like to anything that's digital, my reason why they won't go up is because technology is constantly improving to the point where things are also getting cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at, flat screen TVs nowadays, or like the LCD TVs. The prices have just dropped. It's ridiculous. You can walk into Walmart and get like a 32-inch TV for $200. It used to be like $600, $700, $800. I mean, that it's just going to be, the technology is going to be at our fingertips and new products, and it's better. But whenever, it's not going to be like the tube amps where it's like, well, this is still like this is still relevant, because in the sense of tube amps, yes, there's been technological improvements, but It's just one of those things where it's analog, it's not digital, or it's close to analog, and they want it to stay analog, so it's still analog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it doesn't make sense, but I feel like because tube amps aren't getting a whole lot cheaper. I mean, they are getting cheaper, but it's not as dramatic as it used to, like as it would be. Like a Helix, like 10 years ago, it would be like $3,000.
Yeah,
if not more.
Yeah, I mean, look at the computer was like what, $20,000, and you got 512 megabytes of memory, and you thought, and you were the cool thing in the government. But I mean, that would be my argument. I'm saying that it probably won't come up because I mean, but you're also, when you play these effects too, we're playing them in the sense of not expecting much. So you're like, oh, that's not that bad. But then if you put it next to a timeline, you're like, yeah, no, that really does. Bad. So
I'm just waiting for that person who's going to be so retro that they bust up their Tascam Porta Studios on cassette tape and record an album and use their multi-effects units, and then everybody's going to be like clamoring to pick them up.
That'd be interesting.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it would
Never
be
know.
hilarious if it did.
I'm going to go on Facebook. I'm going to see Clifton in search of Tascam tape recording.
Oh, I've got mine. I'm waiting for it to come back in fashion.
Ready to start a band and everything.
Clifton Worley,
right.
Out of the curve.
Clifton the band. Yeah.
Clifton's a trend
together, guys.
Yeah. No, the man, do you remember the old Tascam? They always had the ad in like Guitar World magazine, and it was the red one, and Dave Mustaine was always advertising it, that he could practice and slow the songs down and not change the pitch.
Oh yeah.
It was just this long red thing with a big shape of a CD in the center of it. That's one of my favorite things. I want to get old Guitar World magazines and look at the ads.
That would be rad.
That's what we're gonna do one episode. We're just gonna do a throwback.
I'm gonna get on eBay right now. Somebody selling their entire Guitar World collection.
Do they still sell subscriptions? Like, you know what's weird? Think about how back in the day we used to wait an entire month for a new magazine to come. So when you were a kid, did you subscribe to a magazine?
The only one I was subscribed to was like Acoustic Guitar Magazine.
I subscribed to Nintendo Power. That was like the
magazine and a couple others. I can't remember.
I think I had like Nickelodeon magazine.
Had Outdoor Life.
Oh my gosh, Clifton's like, are you 70? No, I'm 7. He's out. I just imagine Clifton sitting outside smoking a pipe at 7, reading Outdoor Life like a little Ron Swanson.
Yes.
That's what I want to see. I want to see a picture of little Clifton sitting outside smoking a corncob pipe, reading Outdoor Magazine. Oh my gosh! All right, so how long have
they're
we been
selling
talking?
these things for like $10 a pop? Like,
oh my gosh, Clifton's really looking for it. I wonder if I could go to my local library.
With Van Halen on it.
Oh, that's why it's got Van Halen. Anything with Van Halen.
With Steve Ray Vaughan on it. A couple of Steve Ray Vaughan.
I usually, you know what? Usually there's like someone on my Craigslist giving these away.
Right.
Come take my trash, please.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about those. If you there's so much art, and I mean, like, you could take and get one of these magazines, like a really good one, and probably sell the pages out of it for a couple bucks a piece.
Oh my gosh, Clifton, are you planning on flipping Guitar World magazines? Oh my gosh.
That would be a thing.
Please tell your wife I'm sorry. This was not my fault. I did not encourage this. And I'm not responsible for what Clifton does.
Well, let the listeners phone in.
Let the record show. All right. If you guessed what the pedal was, you get to tell Clifton what to do. How does that sound?
Okay, I'll stop being weird.
Whoa. There's a source audio envelope filter for $75. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Are we going to be buying stuff on the podcast again?
No, that's the old Sound Blocks one. I shouldn't buy that one. But he's got 3 J-Rocket pedals for $400. That's not bad. All right. So,
that's a lot. Who's your J-Rocket guy?
All right. Daniel, was there any piece of gear you would like to see made?
There is a piece of gear I would like to see made.
Tell me more about this.
I'm kind of naturally drawn to digital control systems. So MIDI is right up my alley. And MIDI is an old technology, but a really powerful technology. And it scares the crap out of most guitarists because of how difficult it is to use. So I would like to see a MIDI controller that is as simple to use as, I don't know what a good example is, like a modern phone or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been some advancements, like, for example, with the Morningstar controller. And
I was going to say the Morningstar was what allowed me to get into MIDI, because you talked about guitarists being scared of MIDI. I was terrified of it. I'm like, CC, PC, I don't know what any of it means. You can only go up to this number does this. How do I do this? And the Morningstar is the most user-friendly of all of the ones I've looked into.
Yeah, sure. I think it could be taken even further, though. There's not really any reason in the age we're in that you need to know exactly what controller number or program change number you need to do a certain task. Mm-hmm. Your controller should be able to take care of that with just a simple interface. Yeah. And so I think that's the next step, is a controller with a simple interface where you can say, I'm connected to this pedal and this pedal and this pedal, and all you have to do is press a button to change to patch 4 or whatever. And
well, that could even be an open source thing where people can put, like, you could go like connect to like a certain website, have a central hub where someone can, if this person gets this pedal, they can type in what the different changes are, and all you have to do is update your controller, and it's like, okay, all you have to do is tell it that it's a, Boss whatever, it's a Boss DD 500. Yeah. And you pick that, and it either shows you all of your options, or it gets even more intuitive maybe, and you can kind of have whole settings set up and just change the settings. Like each knob maybe has a scroll script that changes the description, and you can use that almost like an expression.
Yeah. So something interesting about what you just said is the MIDI Association is close to releasing the MIDI 2.0 spec, and something that spec includes is a way for a device to identify itself to other devices. So,
oh wow,
it's definitely something that can happen. It'd be along the lines of plugging your phone into a computer, and your computer knows this is an iPhone or whatever. So that's just one of the things included in the new spec, and there's a lot more possibilities coming up really soon. So
that is something I never thought of, and is pretty dang genius. You just blew my mind. That just happened on air. I don't know how you're going to top that, Chris.
I don't either.
Good luck.
Because I've been sitting here brainstorming, and it's like, I don't
He's like, what about a Les Paul with 5 knobs? He's just can't.
By the way, I may or may not know something about a company that's working on a better MIDI controller, but I can't talk about it.
Oh man, that's. What if we meet at Chick-fil-A in Nashville?
Again?
Can you tell us about it there? Like you told us about the chronograph there.
Hey, that might work.
Yeah,
Okay,
he didn't even say it was him at first.
No, I'm.
Good job.
I can neither confirm nor deny these allegations.
You know what? I know what I'm doing for the rest of the night. I'm starting rumors on the internet. No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing. All right. So Chris, you want to take a shot at trying to top that?
No.
Just defeat.
I don't know. We need more delays with tap tempos. Like I'm really tired of seeing like new delays coming out without them. Well, I don't know. Okay. I'm a simple guy. I like to be able to tap my time in instead of turning knobs. But that's just me.
You know what? How about this? A piece of technology that we need is a better system to be able to control delays that are not tap tempo with like the guy that's got the one where you hook it onto the pot.
Oh yeah, like you have an expression pedal that's like mechanically changes, and then the the wingman.
I don't know. No, there's one that like actually it was like made for like carbon copies, because that was the biggest thing everyone wanted, a carbon copy with tap tempo, and there was supposed to be something where you could tap it in and it would change the time knob for you.
I remember this now.
How about that? Why don't you pick that? Something like that, but better.
Yeah, so that, but better. That actually probably works.
Okay.
Well.
See, there you go. All right. So thanks for joining us. We've had a great time. We got Mr. Clifton Worley from the Clifton Worley Show. Go check him out. He does really cool interviews with some really awesome people. And also we've got Mr. Daniel Shields from DS Guitar Engineering. Check them out. They've got really great stuff. And more stuff to come. I'm just kidding. That's not true. I just felt like adding fuel to that fire. So check us out on Facebook, our Facebook group. Follow us on Instagram. Leave us a review on iTunes. Check out our YouTube. Thank you very much, Westminster Effects, for sponsoring this episode. Again, check them out, westminstereffects.com. We just got our Osteen distortions, and they are a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. They have some killer tones in them. And also, please check out our charity raffle. You can go to our Instagram. It's in our bio there. You can go to go.rallyup.com/autismrocks and you can sign up there. You can see all the prizes we have, and it's for an awesome cause, which is the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. And I believe that's it. I got it all covered. So we will see you guys next week.
See ya.
All right. Bye.
Adios.
Clifton, you gotta say goodbye. Clifton,
he already left.
He already left. All right,
I'm leaving all that in.
Wow, Clifton.
Why is negativity always drawn out? Picture every visualized love. Energized lives together. We under